So far away, Lucas, and I guess lovely audience at home, let us know in the comments, what's a video game you couldn't complete as a child?
Oh, God, let me tell you about the amount of times I rented and failed to complete The Lion King on the SNES.
Yeah, we've all been there. If you're a 90s kid like me and Lucas and you owned or played on a Sega system, chances are you played the game Ecco the Dolphin, a video game where you play as a dolphin who saves the world from some aliens. Because, yeah, Lucas, did you know in Ecco the Dolphin aliens turn up?
You mentioned this to me a couple of weeks ago, and I have only memories of swimming around and, like, screaming at walls and caves and stuff, like being lost. I do not remember aliens.
Well, you'll be surprised how common that experience is, because one thing the game is known for, primarily, is being really, really hard. Something it turns out was entirely intentional, and something the person responsible for that difficulty later apologised for.
I am concerned about the crew. After all, Ecco the Dolphin is not just a game, it is an adventure. The graphics are so real, they don't want to go into the sea anymore. 27 levels of danger, mystery, and beauty, all through the eyes of a dolphin.
And Ecco the Dolphin was released in a time where video games didn't really respect the time of the player, because it was coming from the arcade days where games for the arcade had one real purpose, and that was extracting as much money from you as possible. Like
38, 39, 40 quarters. This better be good.
Game over. Please deposit 40 quarters.
What a rip!
I think we've all played Time Crisis, right? Of like, it's fucking bullshit that hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
on principle, I don't think I've ever seen like level 3 of a Time Crisis game, because I refuse to put another quid in. And I only ever make it to level 2, and there's always a point in level 2, around level 2, when you're just getting into it, where you'll just get the bullshit thing that you absolutely could not dodge, because unless you knew it was coming.
It's time for the one-man army. Richard Miller.
And that's the thing is, I don't know what it's like, but whenever I hear Americans talk about arcades, they're always like, insert another quarter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I always remember it being, as you say, a quid, a pound, like the equivalent of putting $1 in every time you need to start the trial run again. Like,
And I think that might be the primary reason why arcades never really took off over here, because as you mentioned, like, Americans will put a quarter into an arcade machine. Over here it'd be 50 pence or a pound, and back in the 80s when the pound was a bit stronger against the dollar, like, that's the equivalent of like $1.50 to play one game.
yeah, and there's obviously those games where it's like, well, we wouldn't put a quarter in, we'd put in like multiple quarters. It's like, yeah, but we put in multiple 50p's or a pound for those games.
Yeah, and like as mentioned, like the primary purpose of those games wasn't to be fun, it was to get as much money out of it as possible. And there's some of the games that were fun, and some of the games were made presumably because they wanted people to play it. But ultimately, the way those games made money and the way they'd sell them to arcades, because this is the thing, the way they'd sell them to arcades is on the return on investment you would get from them. And this is one of those things where it's kind of been lost to time, but every now and again, like, videos that were sent to arcades, like, pop up on YouTube, and I'll try and find some examples where they sell the game to you. Not in terms of how fun it is, but how much money you can expect to make if you put it in your arcade.
Fighting games have proven themselves to be strong collectors suitable for a wide range of locations. They embody the most attractive elements of the arcade experience. Characters endowed with mythic powers, full player control, secret moves, and the kind of unbridled, head-to-head competition that compels repeat buy-in.
Right, yeah. But I always remember being a kid, my grandparents always gave me and my siblings and cousins and stuff like £2 a week each. And, maybe a quid of that goes on like sweets or whatever. And then the other quid, it's like you could go to the arcade, But if you go into the arcade, that might be 1 or 2 plays on a game, or you go and take it all and get it changed into like the 1p's and go on those 1p dropper coin
Like the little
machines.
2p slidey machines, yeah, they were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But moving back to Ecco the Dolphin, it was released in a time where they didn't want you to be able to complete a game too quickly, because if you complete the game too quickly, then your purchase would seem like a waste, right? That's one of the reasons why that E.T. game fucking sucks, right? You should complete it in like 5 minutes. It nearly killed the industry, because not only did the game suck, you could complete it. I think the speed run for it is like less than 10 minutes. Like, the length of this video is going to be less time than it takes to complete E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari, and that costs like the equivalent of $100 fucking dollars.
I think you mean the video would be longer than how many
This video will be longer
minutes.
than how long it would take to complete the game. And I'm just going to be honest, like, there's a few things I'd pay $100 for that last 10 minutes, and one of them's not a video game.
there's a lot of bad things that I could reply to with that, but they were not only essentially a lot of the games were ports of arcade games onto home consoles, so they just
had that design ethos in mind, right? Of like, we wanted to put another quarter in. That's why I like things like lives were a thing. And there's nothing that pisses me off more when I play an arcade port on like modern systems or more modern systems, and it doesn't have an options for like free play.
Yeah.
Like if I try and replay like Metal Slug or something like that, and it doesn't have the option for just unlimited lives.
Yeah, that's always bullshit. And it's one of those as well, as you say, like, if a game took an hour to beat, then, okay, yeah, obviously skilled people could, but if everyone could beat that game in an hour, that's a game that you would just rent and no one would be buying.
And that's part of the reason why Ecco the Dolphin was so bastard hard. And the person responsible for that difficulty is one, Ed Annunziata. And Ed did not like the idea of someone being able to rent Ecco the Dolphin from Blockbuster or something like that and then complete it in, like, you know, an afternoon, a weekend. So when they'd finished the game, they went back through and just made it more difficult. Artificially so in some places. In other places they just added more elements to puzzles or just made things more obscure. And that's why the game it's a fucking trip if you play it. Because I remember like a friend of mine, he has one of those like arcade machines where it's got like loads of games on it. I went, has this got Ecco the Dolphin on it? He went, yeah. I think so. And I put it on, and he was there, and he was like 4 beers deep, and he's like, what is this game? And he just sees me like going, woo, doing a figure 8 as a dolphin. It's like, mate, you've never seen a dolphin do so many fucking flips and shit. It's great.
Stupid dolphin. You can... Hey!
And Annunziata didn't like the thought of someone being able to beat the game in a weekend, especially since the person who was able to do that would rent it from Blockbuster and they wouldn't get as much money, right? Because that's one purchase was made of that game and it's the purchase Blockbuster made, and then everybody else is playing it essentially for a fraction of the price, and then the company doesn't see any of that profit. And it's weird that we're talking about like this, about a game released like 20, 30 years ago, because the industry's not really changed that much, has it? In regards to them just wanting your fucking money.
It's not changed, but it has changed the ways that it does things in order to extract money from players, right?
It's like mini buys now, right? It's DLC, it's cosmetics. And as bad as it is now, there was a weird period around the Xbox 360, PS3 releases where companies got real fucking cheeky.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message if you don't, people don't like it?
For example, Lucas, do you remember that time where they tried to stop us buying pre-owned games? Like, that was literally the initial pitch of, like, the Xbox One.
It was, and I will say that when you, like, look at interviews from around the time, they really didn't sell the one big feature that could have changed the outcome of that, because they were suggesting a shared family system of games, but they didn't mention that in the entire pitch of like the DRM shit.
And that is something that is quite valuable, and it's something that is offered today. For example, on Nintendo, right? Don't you pay like £2 for your Nintendo Online because you get like the family version of shit, like 7 members of your family, right?
That's true. Yeah, we pay like about $5 a year, so like the equivalent of getting a cup of coffee from like Starbucks or something each year for the Nintendo Online Plus expansion pack.
Yep. Which is good, right? But they never announced that. And the weirdest thing is, if you go back and watch that like launch for the Xbox One, it really feels like an investor pitch where they're talking to their stockholders, not the people who play games. Because I don't understand how they thought you won't be able to buy pre-owned games or share games with friends was something that players wanted. It feels like we watched leaked footage from a stockholder meeting, not something they put out themselves in HD.
But how did the TV know Yusuf and react to his voice? We're bringing a new Kinect sensor paired with every Xbox One, which puts you at the center of your entertainment. Kinect is completely redesigned to respond instantly to you, your voice, and your gestures.
But it's so strange because, as I mentioned, like, they then afterwards started being like, yeah, it's a shame really, because we did have plans for like game sharing where you could have like 10 people in your shared family and all share your digital games seamlessly.
Where was that mentioned?
Where did you not? Why did you not put that in the fucking pitch?
And the release of the Xbox One, or like, you know, the non-start that was the Xbox One's life cycle, that could be a topic for an episode of the sister channel we run, Lucas, Wiki Weekends, right?
That is true, but Karl, like, put some respect on its name. It's the Xbone.
Oh, the Xbone, or like, you know, just the Xbox 180, as it was like referred to in the press. And I think the last thing to mention is just like whoever that dipshit was, who they had in charge, who immediately like got shit canned, where he was asked straight up, and this is like one of those softball questions that journalists give of like, well, the Xbox is really popular with servicemen and women, which is like, you know, in America is a pro tip if you run a business. You say thank you for your service and you shut the fuck up. You don't do what it was Don Matrick, right? People on like, you know, nuclear submarines or on bases in Iraq. What do? Buy an Xbox 360.
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device. I mean, seriously, when I read the blogs and thought about who's really the most impacted, there was a person who said, hey, I'm on a nuclear sub.
Right.
And I don't even know what it means to be on a nuclear sub, but I've got to imagine that it's not easy to get an internet connection.
And I would pay money to go back in time and be a fly on the wall when the stockholders saw him telling people to not buy the new thing they were selling.
It's nearly as bad, not quite as bad, but is nearly as bad as when PlayStation during the PS3 like launch was just, well, get a second job.
Where it was, $700, which over here was £700. Like, thanks for that. I hate that, speaking of video games and like shit costing money. I hate when something costs $500. Over in the UK, that's £500. It's like, but the dollar to pound, it's not 1 to 1. What it is if you're fucking selling Xboxes, apparently. But
it might be nowadays. It's not far off anymore.
It's not
like,
far
it
off
used
anymore,
to be, like,
no. So, yeah, thanks, Liz Truss. Like, good one. Like, well done with that one, right? But
I mean, to be fair, this was just about, like, pre-economic 2008 crash, but still.
But it's just a pro tip for businesses. You never want a headline that reads, fucking idiot is stupid on stage with your company's branding above their head. Just a pro tip. Like that Don Matrick dude, right? Of like, what should people do if they're like, you know, they're on submarines or military bases? There's a lot of Xbox. Like, Xbox got a lot of goodwill by giving Xboxes away to like members of the military. And we're like, we'll just keep playing your Xbox 360. It's like, but by saying that, you're saying that the thing that's older and cheaper and you can pick up for like $80 in goodwill has more functionality than the new thing you're trying to sell.
Yeah, like, there's a subsect of people where their marketing was, this is not for you. And like, as, you know, a business that doesn't want to, you know, and as a business, you do not want your tagline to like be, this isn't for everyone.
It's like, no. How much you got? Like, open up their pockets. Let's see what you got in there. Not enough. Get the fuck out. Right? But it's like, it was just, yeah, like video gaming has always been hostile towards people who are money conscious. Like in the Xbox 360 days, where they tried to limit the amount of times you could play online because games companies were like annoyed that Xbox was making money from people paying to play online. So they tried including like single-use passes to play games online to try and kill the pre-owned market.
That was the way EA decided to try and get rid of pre-owned games, right? It's just, well, if you don't buy it new, then you've got to pay like 10 quid to get an online pass. It's like, I'm already paying to play online, you fucking dickhead.
And all that did was just kill any chance of those games having any sort of successful online component, because one of the things that keeps games alive is the pre-owned and second-hand market, right? Or I guess in the digital age, there'll be things going on sale, and if things don't lower in price, you can't get that second, third, fourth influx of people. The people who maybe are a bit more price conscious, maybe don't have as much money, maybe just couldn't afford it the first time around, right?
The answer is there's a lot of developers on those games, and that's the real cost of business when it comes to gaming nowadays, is like keeping high-skilled tech people in gaming.
It must be really hard as well when you keep continually shutting down the companies making games.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we know that's a story for another day. Perhaps a Wiki Weekends episode. So yeah, follow us on Wiki Weekends.
God, that'd be depressing.
It'd be a depressing one, but it'd be interesting, right? In that way of like, just fucking hate business people ruin everything.
Fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message if you don't like it.
But in regards to Ecco the Dolphin, it was ruined by one guy, and Annunziata went back through earlier levels that he felt were too easy to make them harder, specifically because he didn't want people to complete it in a weekend. But when reviews started rolling in, and all the reviews were like, it's an interesting, pretty cool looking game, I've no idea how to beat it.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
Reviewers found Ecco the Dolphin really difficult, and Annunziata was really kind of shocked by that. And after the fact was kind of, oh, maybe I made it too difficult, because the game that I worked really hard on isn't known as this cool dolphin simulator. It's known as this weird-ass game that's ridiculously difficult out of nowhere that nobody ever fucking completed. So by trying to make it so that no one could complete it in a weekend, people just bounced immediately off of it and didn't complete it at all. And as a result, Ecco the Dolphin is kind of obscure, at least among, like, you know, newer gaming fans, because, well, like, fuck, they're going to re-release that, because who's going to beat it, right? Why the hell would you remaster or put it on a system if no fucker's going to beat it?
And I will say that I had a cursory glance, and I believe it is on, like, the Nintendo Switch Online, just Genesis games. So I would be, like, really intrigued to go and play it, because I know for a fact that child me never got past the first level, probably.
Like, in 2013, Annunziata released a formal apology for the game's difficulty and acknowledged that maybe I made it too difficult and too challenging, especially for young children, like Sega's primary audience at the time. And by trying to, like, you know, limit the ability of people to beat it in a weekend, I ultimately robbed people of the experience of experiencing the game, which is fucking weird.
And I do remember being a kid, and one of my favourite animals as a kid was dolphins, and I saw a dolphin game went,
doing sick.
Like, I'm going to rent this game, and I must have bounced off it almost immediately, because it was just untenable.
The amount of people who think Ecco the Dolphin is just that first level, and they think it's just you swim around as a dolphin, they think it's a dolphin simulator, and in that regard, it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
like, it's really, really satisfying to, like, get the boost just you're about to leave the water and do, like, 14 front flips. But that's not what the game is. The game's a puzzle game where all the dolphins in the ocean get kidnapped by aliens, and you, as Ecco the Dolphin, have to go through all these adventures to save your dolphin friends.
Man,
and you
I
meet
love
aliens
video
and
games.
shit.
I love that video games could just, back in the day especially, just be like, oh, you're a dolphin and aliens. It's like, okay, cool,
I
that's a
appreciate
video
how
game.
weird it gets, but the difficulty did actually end up helping the game in at least one small way, because when the game was finished, they sent a copy of it to, and I have it here, the Royal British Marine Life Conservation Society. And Ed was under the assumption that when they got their hands on this game, they would take issue with it, because they are, as mentioned, the British Marine Life Conservation Society, and something you can do in the game is headbutt marine life to death by doing dolphin combos. But the game was so difficult, nobody at the society could get past the first level, which is just you swimming around in the ocean as a dolphin, talking to other dolphins and doing cool flips. So they just assumed that the entire rest of the game must have been like that. So they actually gave the game their blessing and sent an invite to Annunziata to join the society for creating a game that was like celebrating dolphins and like the idea of conserving ocean life, even though a key plot point in the game is that Ecco fucking hates every other thing in the ocean and will kill it.
I mean, at least it's accurate to dolphins then, right?
Well, it is accurate to dolphins, but they gave the game, like, you know, their blessing, just assuming that the rest of the game was as peaceful and chilled as that very first level, when, as mentioned, that's the tutorial level, and it gets fucked up, like, 5 minutes in if you know what you're doing, and all sorts of crazy fucking bullshit turns up. And Lucas, I'm just going to send you a screenshot from Ecco the Dolphin. And you said you never got past the first level, right?
I don't think I have.
You never did? Okay, Lucas, what do you see?
Oh dear, let me get the chat up. What the fuck is that Super Metroid ass looking boss?
Wait, what is that? Lucas, did you know that's how Ecco the Dolphin ends up?
I didn't know.
And would you like me to read a quote from the Society about Ecco the Dolphin? And just keep that image in mind as I read this quote out. You rescue your family after a storm and solve puzzles. What a peaceful game. Isn't this wonderful? And you end up fighting like aliens and shit. Look at that awful Lovecraftian nightmare monster.
Like fucking some Super Metroid cross Andros shit turns up in the ocean.
It's awful, right? And that's the thing. So many people don't know how weird Ecco gets because no one got past that first level. I think 90% of people, probably less than that, it's probably a few people do, but the majority of people who talk about this game and are aware of it, and probably the people clicking on this video go, I recognise Ecco the Dolphin. I never got past the first level. They probably didn't realise aliens and shit turn up. They probably didn't realise like you can just fucking headbutt like giant seahorses to death because they just probably got stuck in that first area like I don't know what I'm doing.
Again, like never forget how brutal dolphins are. Is like all they want to do is have sex and kill.
Yeah, they love it. They love murder. It's like it's a very realistic dolphin game.
I want streaks because if you interrupt me, that's what you'll get.
So far away, Lucas, to end on, let's talk about video games for a moment. And our sister channel, Wiki Weekends, has a Patreon. And one of the goals on that Patreon is to launch a gaming channel. And if we can get that gaming channel up and running, one of the things we'd like to do, or plan to do, is bring back and create some new series that are like, you know, so the gaming channel would have like playthroughs and the like on there, but we also would like to create some more scripted content or content around a specific theme. And something we toyed with when we had the Untitled Side channel a few years ago is Fishing Fridays, which was a series where we would find fishing minigames in video games and then play through them and judge them because I love fishing minigames. And this might not be an in-depth fishing game, but fucking hell, has A2 got cast distance on. Look at that! Just... Where did the fish come? Whoa! Holy fuck!
I want to see anybody like cast a fishing line that far.
Do we got a bite? That's going. All that for that. What does that fish feel as well?
Just that tiny little carp when it's just flying back to A2.
Just getting dragged all the way back. And you know she fucking hates fishing. You know she hates this. Oh, here we go.
Oh, is that? The little puffer fish.
Is it like a little puffer fish? Yeah, it was. It was a bloatfish machine. I think we could stretch the definition of that and play a game like Ecco the Dolphin, don't you think?
I mean, there's fish in it.
There is fishing in it, yeah. So that's like one of the series that I would love to revive over on a theoretical gaming channel if we can get enough support on Wiki Weekends and the associated Patreon. So if people would like to see myself and Lucas literally beat our head against a brick wall as a digital dolphin, you can help make that happen.
That's the thing, right? I presume that the hunting of fish via dolphin would classify in some way as fishing.
It's fishing, right? It's like, we only had like a couple episodes of that, but I always thought it was a very strong gimmick, and I would love to revive it, because me and you had a incomplete list of the various games with fishing mini-games in there, and presumably our audience at home can suggest many more, and that's one of the things we'd like to do. But I think we played like that like Manhunter game, right? Where it's like, it's the shark PG. Lucas, do you know what I've often asked you? The question of sell a game with a screenshot or a picture. This is how you sell this game to me. Like, look at that. Which isn't
Maneater?
great. Maneater, something, right? Manhunter's probably a different game. No, Manhunt's a game, right?
Manhunt is a different game.
That is a game. You definitely kill things in that, but you're not playing as a shark. You're playing as a dude.
A dude that just likes to murder in many, many ways.
Yeah, you know what? That's another topic for Wiki Weekends and Cover. That'll be a Halloween episode, so I was always scared of that game.
You should be, Karl. Like, never forget that game was, like, banned across many different countries.
Which would be an interesting thing to cover, right? But in that vein, Lucas, are there any, like, weird games or games with, like, interesting hooks or premises you'd like to discuss? Because, like, Ecco the Dolphin is one, right? Like, just, hey, Dolphin Simulator, let's go. Or, like, Maneater, it's like the Shark PG, which isn't great, but, you know, I'll put some clips in the episode now, and people can go check it out below if they're interested. We've got some humans here, Lucas.
Oh, what? Get them.
Well, I don't know, they're on dry land. That's the thing I'm wondering, like, how do you think we're going to get there?
Can you just fling yourself at humans?
Oh, no, Lucas, that'd be stupid. Why would I be able to do, like, oh, fuck you, oh, I'm on land! I'm in! Ah!
I'm always fascinated by the idea of Katamari as a concept.
That's the roll, right?
Yeah, just roll and get bigger, and then scoop up the galaxy by the end of the game.
Like, a game with a gimmick that I always loved, and it was a series. I'm not going to say it didn't get a chance. It got several chances, and each of the games released in that series are all good. But I'd love for it to come back, and like I'd love to see its gimmick expanded upon, and that's Beautiful Joe.
Henshin a Go-Go, baby.
Yeah, that's the thing, Henshin a Go-Go, baby. That's like, Okami's coming back, and Okami's a great game. I love that gimmick, the paint, right? Because you're replaying it on your Twitch stream, right?
I am playing it over on my Twitch.
How are you finding Okami? Beautiful, right?
I mean, it's absolutely gloriously beautiful, but I'm in the opening parts of that game, and it's a slow burn, I'll tell you that.
It needs to teach you. There's a lot you can do in that game, and you can see...
It is absolutely gorgeous, and I am enjoying my time so far, but yeah, it's similar, because, you know, Zelda Twilight Princess also came out the same year, where you play as, like, Wolf Link, and also have a really slow opening to a game. Between both Okami and Wind Waker... I'm just like, goddamn, why do we not get more games in, like, cool, different art styles? Because they both hold up so well.
Yeah, and they're like the Okami's, like the watercolour stuff, and the fact that, like, just, you play as a dog. So we've got to model a dog, and you get to do dog combos. It's fantastic. I guess I've got to mention, we mentioned Beautiful Joe and Okami. They are both in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is another series. Bring that back. Bring Marvel vs. Capcom back.
Bring it back with a good art style.
Yeah, bring it back.
Real hero? For real? What was I again? That doesn't matter.
Or the thing that fans of Marvel vs. Capcom have wanted for years: Capcom vs. Capcom. Fuck Marvel. Just don't deal with all that Disney nonsense. Just make Capcom vs. Capcom. Do it.
But I want Berserker Barrage.
You could give another character that.
No, you've got to make it Wolverine. You've got to Berserker Barrage.
Well, it's more as well like... I guess we're just going to talk about Marvel vs. Capcom again. Fuck it. I'm just... Like, the voice lines in that game live in my head rent-free. Like you said, like, the Wolverines were like, Berserker Barrage! Like, Swiss cheese! It's so good!
Maximum Spider!
Okay, it's Maximum Spider's fucking top tier. I don't care what anyone says. Like, Spider-Man should be doing that shit every day. Maximum Spider! And he sounds like such a shit in that game. It's great.
Ready? Maximum Spider!
Oh, it's fantastic though, yeah, in the best way possible.
Well, just like I said, Beautiful Joe. And the fact that everyone knows Beautiful Joe. I love that, like, they just made it so everyone knows who Beautiful Joe is in Marvel vs. Capcom. Like, all the heroes respect him.
I would be down for Capcom versus Capcom if they had more characters like Phoenix right in there.
Oh, you know they would.
Just no objection.
Like, so, 'cause that's it. If you made Capcom versus Capcom, right away, there's all the characters that should have been in the game that haven't been in because they had too many reps from that series. Like, where the fuck is Nero? I know there's still games like that. We have Dragon Ball Fighters, but that's like been out nearly like 8 years now.
What? Spin! Hey there! Hey there! Hey there! Spin! Hey there! Try this one! It can be! Struck of this!
Something like that, yeah.
And Strive did have like the 3 versus 3 mode, but it's not the standard tournament way they play it. I like the 3-on-3 hyper fighters. That's what they were called, hyper fighters.
Yeah.
Where they're just really fucking fast. Because when I watch like Street Fighter or Tekken, as much as I like Street Fighter and I like Tekken, and I like Strive, they're so slow. It's glacial.
I love seeing just like 96 hit combo come on screen. Excellent.
Just galactic. When you get the 200 hit combo. Just like saying Marvel is so fast. And I guess if we're talking about like bringing fighting games back, bring back Soul Calibur. Where is Soul Calibur? The fuck is Soul Calibur? Because like, do you know what fighting games need that they don't have anymore, and it annoys me? Ring outs. What happened to ring outs in fighting games?
Just like insert image of Keelik here.
Like, do you know what? Don't go near the edge. Fuck you.
That's how it's done. I think you're mine. I'm too young.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Bring ring outs back. I love ring outs in fighting games. Or like Dead or Alive. And where Dead or Alive would have like contextual throws depending on where on the stage you stood, and you can like throw people over the stairs or do power bombs on concrete steps.
You could throw people into the next part of the stage, right?
Where's that? I love that shit. Like Tekken kind of has it, but not enough.
You just kind of break the floor, though, don't you, normally?
Yeah. And Tekken, like, they advertised Tekken 8 as saying you can do all this crazy bullshit. And the guy who worked on Dead or Alive, who, like, implemented that system, was working on Tekken. But it's not implemented enough. And they actually toned it down. Every time they update the game, they tone down how powerful those interactions are, so it makes them less useful.
Right.
And we're never going to get that Dead or Alive combo where someone does a 0 to death on the stage they put in, where it's just the infinite falling platforms, and they pick a character who's got a throw where he catches you in midair, and all he does is he gets you right in the corner and he throws you off the edge, jumps down and catches you in midair and throws you down again. 0 to death. It's like, give me that shit.
Oh, that sounds excellent.
It's fantastic. Or like, you could do the Izuna drop off the ledge, but there's like levels of the ledge is like 4 miles down.
Oh god, it reminds me of seeing those like images and stuff of Smash Bros. Where you get the clips where like, Rob will do the pile driver on a moving platform, and the platform moves away from underneath it, pile drives you down.
So good. Like, bring that shit back. Like, I know fighting games are kind of doing all right. Like, we've got a lot of good fighting games, like Mortal Kombat 1, Tekken 8.
Yes.
People criticize them, but we've got, like, the big three are here. And, like, they're doing quite well, and they look fantastic. But I miss ring outs. As bullshit as they are, as annoying as they are, there's few things in gaming as satisfying as when I was playing Soul Calibur 4, and I'd play like Siegfried, and I'd just do the leg throw where you flip them up and you pancake them. And you get them, like, you've got your back to the wall and you pancake someone over your shoulders and get the win.
I just love doing like the just straightforward poke with key lick.
Just push them off the edge.
Yeah.
Nothing ever beat Hilda. Like, Hilda was absolutely fucking busted because she had a combo that was 0 to death on certain stages where if you landed it, it would always end with her catching him on the end of her spear and throwing him off the edge. And it was funny every time.
Would you say he's the favorite to win, or what are we looking at?
Hilda is such a strong character, you always have to give it to the player playing her. It's not a Hilda match. And there's the ring out.
And I'm hoping this is just like the beginning of a new fighting game renaissance, and like we get all the weird shit now.
Just bring, like, I don't want Dead or Alive back to see Ayane's tits. I want Dead or Alive back for the systems where you could powerbomb people off the top of skyscrapers. I don't care if the character's got her tits out or not, but can she do a front flip and kick someone so hard they fly through a wall? That's the shit I want. Also, just, if you're going to make a new Dead or Alive, bring Leon back. Because Leon was my favourite character, because he's just a dude wearing a turban. And like his backstory is like the simplest backstory ever, where he's like, he had like a hot wife. And on a deathbed, says, the man I love is the strongest man in the world. He's like, well, I'm going to beat up everybody. And he just rocks up. I think he's in like 2 games. And the 2 games that he's in, he's fucking unstoppable. Because all he does is just do like power bombs and shit. And he has one of my favourite tag throws in anything. Do you remember they had like the cool tag throws in like Dead or Alive, where you'd like get your teammate in? His is just, he grabs them and just smashes their head into a wall. Because you know what? He's the strongest man in the world. God, why was, like, speaking of games that look so good, why does Dead or Alive 4 look so fucking smooth?
Yeah.
Just, like,
animations, Karl. Animations.
Also, just like, remember like the infinite like fight in that, and just every time a new character comes in, just they jump into the arena and the fight continues. How slick that was.
Do you not prefer the way Tekken does it with like 20 different loading screens?
Yeah. Bring it back. Cheers, everybody.